Hey, Euro Sawyer. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So this is Omer Ashano here again with Night Practice Live. This is number 4. Hello, Yoon. Yoon. Hope I pronounced it right. So yes, for whomever of you who doesn't know me, my name is Omer Ashano. I'm a jazz violinist from Israel, who was based in New York City for the past 4 years, but currently due to the situation, to the fun situation we're all in, I'm in Israel. So we'll wait a couple more minutes for people to tune in, and we'll start very soon. Meanwhile, as always, I like to welcome you guys with soothing elevator music, which some may also refer to as bossa nova music, but I personally enjoy bossa nova music a lot, not only in the elevator, but for a reason, people have decided that bossa nova is appropriate for elevators, but who knows? Anyway, so today, Shalom Rani, hello, Colored Richard, hello, and Manuela, hi everyone. If you're sticking around, please say hi, wave, let me know you're here, tell me where you're from, tell me if you play an instrument, whether you're a violinist or not. I'd love to hear who's tuning in. Okay, so today, what I want to talk about today is, first we'll start off by just practicing some modes. Just very basic modes that are very crucial in improvisation. Only thing is that I'm gonna practice it in a slightly different direction as you would normally practice it. So I think we'll start off with that, and I'll probably continue to just work on a tune that I'm gonna have to play in a gig I have on Tuesday. I actually have a gig, a real gig that actually pays money. That's so exciting. So I'm playing part of this Duke Ellington festival, which is happening partially online. So it will be a performance in front of basically 10 people in the crowd, and then just I guess some other people that gonna buy tickets for an online show. So I'm playing with this trad jazz group, and we're doing a tribute to the music played by Duke Ellington and Django Reinhardt. So this is a tribute show to that, so I have a few tunes that I'm gonna have to learn. So we're gonna do that together. I'm gonna show you how I approach learning a new tune. It's not, these tunes in particular are not too complicated, the ones that will be played on the gig on Tuesday. Hello, Mancardo. These tunes aren't too complicated, so a lot of them will not require much work for me, since these are chord progressions that I'm already familiar with. But I just want to give you an idea of how I approach it anyway. So I would usually use that in order to work on more complex chord progressions. But if you're a beginner, improviser, then you might want to use the same approach to study tunes that have chord progressions that are more new and unknown to you. So that's what I think about thing that we're gonna do today. But as long as anyone along the way, we had enough bossa nova music. As much as I enjoy it. Jazz! Hello, Andrea. Thank you for your jazz. As I said, if anyone has any questions along the way, then you're very welcome to ask them any subjects you'd like me to address, how I approach them, how I practice them, then you're very welcome to ask me, and I'll do my best to answer. But as long as we don't have any special requests, I'm just gonna stick to the routine for tonight, which, as I said, is practicing modes first, practicing modes in a particular way that I like to approach them, and then practicing a new tune that I'm gonna have to play on a gig on Tuesday. Okay, so let's start off by saying thanks. That's important. It's a ritual that I would like to start every night practice session that I'm doing. Just want to start with good positive vibes. It's important to be grateful for things that we have. It's important for our happiness and important to keep us humble and to keep us grounded. So I just want to come up with one thing that I'm thankful for. Let me take off these funky glasses. Had enough of them. Shalom Orit. Hello. FKRUCZEK. Awesome. So today I met with my band members from OSOG. It's a cool folk rock band I'm part of for many years. So we had a gathering today and we saw our lead singer's new twin babies, and that was really exciting. I'm really grateful for that, for this gathering and for these people and this band that took me on a lot of adventures around the world and taught me a lot about music and about band life and about tour life. Hello, Mark. So that's one thing I'm grateful is for that band. These are two things I'm grateful for: that band and for the gathering today, which was real fun, and we had some real good food. Okay, so let's get to it. Alright, so the way I like to practice modes is actually not by playing all the modes of a specific root key, meaning for example, if we're in the key of C major, we would play normally we would start with the first mode, which is Ionian, then we'll continue to the second mode, which would be Dorian, and we'll play a D Dorian, and then we'll play an E Phrygian, and then F Lydian. So the reason why I prefer not to practice this way is because what happens is we're still in the same mindset. Hello John, hello SG Guitar, and Kirsty. Please guys, if you're tuning in, just say hi, introduce yourself in case I don't know you. Tell me where you're from. I'd be really happy to hear where people are tuning from. Um, so so the reason why I prefer to not practice modes in this way is because hello Kirsty McGee. Hello, introduce yourself. Um, so so the thing is that if I practice the mode starting from the awesome Kirsty, if I'm playing the mode starting from the same all the mode that refer to a particular root key signature, to one key signature, I'm kind of just playing the same scale but starting from different points. So I'm not really internalizing the shape of a mode, which is much more important when we're improvising. Is we want to remember shapes, okay? We want to remember different shapes. We want to see when we see a chord and we know that to that chord a particular mode applies. Let's say that's a Dorian mode that applies to a minor seventh chord, for example. Then I want to have a shape that I can go to straight away in my fingers. Something like a shape that I see on the imaginary grid that we have on this fretless instrument. We do want to kind of imagine a grid that exists on this fingerboard and think in shapes, because thinking in shapes, thinking in patterns, it is musically constricting many ways, but it's also essential for really being able to compose on this in the spur of the moment, basically, because we can't think theory, we can't analyze key signatures and stuff like that as we're playing. Everything has to be very intuitive and very instinctive, and in order to do that, we have to be familiar with the sounds that we're trying to produce, and we have to be familiarized with the shapes in our fingers that create these kind of sounds that we're thinking about. Hello Jorn and Maya and Mark from New York City. So the way that I practice these modes is, I think it's more useful in getting used to the shapes starting from a specific root. So when I see some type of E chord, okay, and when I see that E and I have, let's say it tells me it's an E major chord or an E half diminished chord or E minor seventh chord, then I know exactly what shape can apply to that E root. So I'm gonna do some of that, because believe it or not, I need refreshments over the modes every now and then, and over arpeggios, just to get back that feeling in my fingers of each mode or each arpeggio. So let's start off. So I think I'm gonna start with slightly harder key signatures, just because so I have to focus on the ones that challenge me the most, and that's something I recommend you do too when you practice. We have limited practice time, unless you're I don't know, funded by someone to practice and create music. But this day and age, most of us musicians or hobby musicians don't have that much time to practice, because we have to also survive in the world. So with the limited time we have to practice, I really highly recommend that you use it to address issues in your playing, to address gaps and problems in your playing, rather than just going over a routine that repeats itself. So we do have, it's healthy to have some type of routine in your practice, but it's important that you build a routine around issues in your playing that need to be addressed, and not just, let's say you have a routine of playing scales, major scales. So don't just start by playing a major scale from the same spot every time you get to practice, because then you're just reinforcing the same habits with that, maybe good, maybe not, but you're just reinforcing the same habits. We want to take the weak parts and want to address our weaknesses and work on them to strengthen our weaknesses, and that just improves us all over the spectrum, not just that particular weakness. You'll notice that once you practice one thing, you get better at some other thing that seems to be unrelated, but it is somehow related. So if you're just a beginner with playing modes on your instrument, then I would suggest to obviously start with the most common key signature from like C. So go to C and G and D. Start from the easy ones, especially these are easy ones for violin. But in my case, since these ones are kind of, I feel more comfortable with, I'm just going to start with one that I feel less comfortable with, which is the horrendous B key signature. Whether it's B minor or B major, I mean B minor is not as bad, but B major, we string players know how much we hate this key. I think not only string players, I think everyone, this is a common pain to, hello Cal and Johnny and Dylan, say hi, introduce yourself guys. So I think like B major is a common enemy to all musicians, so that's nice. So I'm gonna start and just pass over all the modes starting from B. Ayo. Okay, now another thing that I'm gonna add. Oh, sorry, thought you went away. Another thing that I'm gonna add to the practice is just a drone, and for whoever, if you guys follow these live sessions, or hello, is this Dylan from, yeah, it is Dylan from the Netherlands. Hey mate, Alan Muhammad. So if you guys follow my live sessions, or if you're a student of mine, then you know how much I like improvising or practicing to a drone, usually a tanpura drone, which is this Indian bass instrument. But this time it's just a string section playing a bass note of the drone that I choose. So we'll just set it to B. I'll just set this drone to B, so then any mode that I practice along, I can also make sure that I practice it in the correct intonation in comparison to the drone. So this way I build better habits. Okay, let me know if you guys hear this well enough. Is the drone loud enough? Oh, what's happening? Hello, Katarina. Okay, so we're just gonna start off from the first mode, which is Ionian mode. Starting again. Ionian mode, major scale. Okay. Hello, Ismael. Hello, Isabella. Also, another point, if you guys notice, when I do this, I don't practice with any vibrato. Okay, I assume most of you guys already do that when you practice scales, but just want to point that out, that when you practice scales, generally I think try to do most of your practice without vibrato, because this way you can really be conscious, be aware of whether you're playing with right intonation or not. How well are your habits of sending your finger to the correct point on the fingerboard, okay? Because vibrato can many times compensate for lack of stability in your left hand. So whenever you do these kind of exercises, playing scales, playing to a drone, in order to work on intonation, make sure you don't practice with vibrato. Okay, so next mode, we're coming out from the root of B. Hello, Vincent. Introduce yourself, guys. Whoever is joining, please say hi and tell me where you're from. I'd love to hear where people are tuning in from. So we're starting from the root of B. Next mode is the Dorian mode. Excuse me. I want to play fourth finger. If you can hear, when my descending scale is not as sharp, not as tuned as when I went upscale. So this is why if you see that I'm going back to a note and repeating a part of the scale a few times, that's because I'm just trying to solidify the feeling of going to the correct spot on the fingerboard, okay? It's very important when you practice these scales. Again, like I said earlier, we want to use practice in order to address gaps, to address weaknesses, not just to go over routine. So when I'm practicing the scale, if I see that there are weaknesses, whether it's a transition here, transition there, then I want to address them. I want to try and play them again and again until I find, until I get a better feeling for them. Next mode is the third mode, is called the Phrygian mode. Okay, it kind of has like an Arabic music vibe to it. We like it in the Middle East. That minor third is tough. Is the Lydian mode. That's the fourth mode. It has a nice sound. I like it too. It's like a very bright sound. Usually the mode we would use for improvising over any chord that has a flat 5 or sharp 11th. In other words, we basically have a 4 sharp in this. A nice tritone. Devil's interval. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what fingering I prefer to that. So here's a hint that I'm not familiar well enough with this pattern for the Lydian mode over a B, because I still don't have one fixed way of playing it, which is something that is very important to come up with in order to have fluency in improvisation. Like if I have a Lydian mode, then I want to have one way to play that Lydian mode. Okay, it's not like in other pre-composed music that we play, where we have time to plan the best fingering or the best string to play a particular note on, right? We can play, we have a B on the A string, and we can choose whether we want to play it B on the A string or B on the D string. These are kind of choices that we don't really have time. Most times we don't have time to come up with the best solution to how to produce a note. So we want to have very fixed and solidified shapes that we're able to implement in a split second. So this is why I want to come up with come up with the most efficient way for me to play a Lydian mode over a B root. Hola, Oscar. And come up with that one way to play a mode that will serve me whenever there's a need of playing that mode. Okay, and obviously sometimes it would be inevitable that the shape will change from time to time, but you do want to have one very solidified shape that your hands goes to right away. So I think in this point, what happens is that when we're playing this B major or B Lydian, we're basically we're starting off from half position on the violin. So I'm playing B with my third finger. That's the most efficient way I've found in order to play the different modes starting from B. If I'm playing any minor B, then I'm starting from first position, playing B with the second finger. But if I'm playing any major, because I have this D sharp and A sharp in the key signature, then I need to have access to my first finger, and I don't want to move positions too many times. So I want to constrain it to have as least position shifts as possible throughout the scale. So I'm starting off from half position, and I think then I'm going to move to first position on back to the B on the A string, and from here I'm gonna play that E sharp with the fourth finger. Okay, that sharp fourth sound, which gives us the Lydian mode. Sorry for this poor connection that I have. Are we live again? Are we back? I hope this connection is better. Hello, Sergio. Okay. So continuing to B Mixolydian. next mode is the Aeolian mode, which we know as natural minor. So this time I'm going to start with second finger since it's a minor mode. Okay, that was Aeolian mode, and next up is the very interesting Locrian mode, which is like a Phrygian but with also with a flat, basically flat 5. Sorry. Alan Abdel Wahab. So we finished all the 7 modes now. So normally I would keep on doing that on different with all the going through all 12 keys and making sure that every mode is solidified in each of the keys, okay, and going in that direction of starting each mode from the same root. I'm good. كيف حالك? So this way we really internalize the shapes of the different modes rather than associate them all as being one part of one scale. So as I said earlier, don't practice it if you're practicing the modes of a C major. If you're practicing the modes of a C major, don't practice playing C Ionian, then D Dorian, then E Phrygian. Just start every time from the same root. You're choosing to start from C, then play C Ionian, C Dorian, C Phrygian, C Lydian, C Mixolydian, C Aeolian, and C Locrian. Okay? Yes, Abdel Wahab, you may ask a question. And hello, Pancesco and Fabrizia. If you guys tuning in, please let me know where you're from and what you're up to. Are you a violinist too? You're a beginner violinist or beginner improviser? what's the best method to start with? For learning violin or for learning improvisation? Um, the best method to start with. Well, I would recommend that you find a local teacher for violin. Nice. Pan, pan, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Pancesco. Uh, so hello from Israel and Fabrizia from Brazil. Good to have you guys. So the violin, I would recommend find a good teacher in your area, or if it's not possible, then find an online teacher. You should start by a classical teacher could be good for starts. You just want to gain control over the instrument at first, and later on, if you want to explore other style, then you can move on to other styles. But you need to have a teacher to teach you the basics, show you how to hold a violin, how to make sure that you're getting used to a good posture with holding it, that you don't hurt yourself and don't develop bad habits. Then try looking, if you don't have good teachers around your area, then try to find some teachers online. It's not ideal to start learning violin online. I would recommend to have someone that can actually really shape your hands and show you how to hold it really from close up. But if there's no other choice, you can definitely find check out different online teachers. And 3 months is still not enough to know if you get it or not. 3 months, for any other violinist here in the group, he could tell you that this is an instrument that takes long time to get a hang of. So 3 months, no one will be able to play in 3 months. 3 months it's only the time that takes you to start learning how to hold the instrument. So give yourself some time. Be patient, even if it's a teacher you're not so confident about. Just give yourself some more time, and just remember that the basics of the violin, they take time. They take time to really internalize and get into your playing. So good luck with that. If you have any more questions, you're welcome to send it over afterwards. If you're wondering where to look for a teacher, or if you have any more specific questions, then you can send me. Sababa? Afwan. Okay, so next up, I wanted to just practice a tune that I need to be playing on a gig that I have on Tuesday. That's very exciting. I have a real gig with that someone actually pays me for. So that's very exciting. That's the first. No, I did have one gig like a couple of months ago, but it's been a while since I had a gig in front of real people. So that's happening on Tuesday. So I need to learn some tunes for that. I'm playing with this traditional jazz band. So I'm just gonna show you how I'm approaching learning a new tune. As I said earlier, this tune is not too complicated. This is a tune by Duke Ellington. We're doing a Duke Ellington and Django Reinhardt tribute show, together with a trumpet player, an amazing guitar player, gypsy jazz guitar player from France, that is visiting here now, and a double bass player who's also came from Israeli, that came back from New York now. So normally this is not a tune that I would really practice the changes, the chord changes for. Shalom Ofiri! So usually I would spend this time like I'm gonna do now. I'm usually spending this time over more complex tunes to my level. But this is just, it's the same technique that I use to approach new tunes. So it doesn't matter what level you are. You pretty much use the same approach in order to learn a new tune. So the only thing that differentiates is the level of the harmony, the complexity of the harmony, or of the complexity of the form itself, whether it's a long form with many modulations throughout it. But yeah, generally it would be the same approach. So I'm just gonna show you how what I do when I get a new tune and I want to learn how to jam on it. So this tune is called Old King Doogie by Duke Ellington. So first, I'm just gonna listen to it. Okay? I want to get the feeling of it. See what tempo I should be expecting. Here's the B part. So now we have like a shout, what we call a shout chorus, where it's like a solo of the orchestra. So we figured out. I listened to it and I figured out that my form is it's in classic AABA form. So I have one melody that repeats again, and then I have the development and a new part in the form, the B part, and then we're going back to the first theme of the melody, and then we're going off to usually to solos. In this case, a shout chorus by the orchestra, but then they will probably go to solos. So I actually got usually I learn tunes by ear, but in this case I got a chart. So let's try and play this with the track. Just play the melody. In this case I have to transpose everything an octave up from what it's written on the chart, because because it goes to like a low F, like F natural, which we don't have on the violin. So I'm just transposing everything an octave up. Three, four, 1, 2, 3. Let's do this one more time. And back to the top. 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now the B part is actually an improvised part. So okay, so improvising, da da da, and back to the last A. Four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. All right, so it's not we don't have a complicated melody here. Let's try and play this. Let's try and play that melody with the band one time, with hopes that the track is not tuned, detuned a little bit, because many recordings from that time, because it was recorded in a different recorded in different speeds, so many times the during conversion it would lose the it would lose pitch. Oh, where is it? Improvise part? Okay, so I added a little bit, if you guys could hear that, I added a little bit of double stops there. Hey Henry, just to spice it up, I get a feeling of the key signature, and once you guys practice a lot of arpeggios and modes, you'll get the feeling of a chord in your fingers, so you won't have to do much thinking about it. So now when I added these double stops and added some extra notes to spice up the melody and make it fuller, make it punchier in some spots, I wasn't thinking about, I'm gonna add a sixth below, or I'm gonna add the fifth of the chord here. It's just, you just get a feel for it. So just, so if it seems complicated, just know it's just about practicing your scales, practicing modes, arpeggios, getting a feel of the neck of the grid, and these things come naturally later on. Okay, so now how do I approach learning the harmony here? So in the chart, I have the chord changes in front of me, so I don't need to spend time on finding them by ear. But what I would do, I would simply start by just playing the arpeggios along with the chart. So maybe let's just put a metronome, just so I have some sort of grid to follow. Oh, why did I shut off the... Okay, so in this case, the hello, Dooney and Olivier. So with this tune, the feel, like after listening to the tune, to the recorded tune, I know I got the feel that the chord that's happening, the C, it says C minor here, but we can when the chart says C minor, it usually means that you can add the sixth, the C minor sixth on top. Okay, C minor 7 has a very particular sound to it, and it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the scale many times, and it doesn't fit the style in which we're playing. And a lot of traditional jazz, a lot of music from the 20s and 30s, they didn't use much minor seventh, or they didn't use it not as a part from a 2-5 progression. So if it's a standalone minor chord, it would usually be a C minor 6 or just a minor triad. In this case, let me practice C minor 6, okay? So I have C minor 6, then it goes for like 2 million bars. Then I have C minor on bass B flat, which is still, it's basically like a C minor 7 because we have the B flat here. So I can play a C minor 7 arpeggio there. Then I have a C minor bass A. Now this is interesting because what happens when you're playing a C minor bass A? Hello, Liam. What happens when you're playing a C minor with the bass of A is you're basically playing a half diminished chord, right? You're playing minor 7 flat 5. Right? Which is also an inversion of C minor 6, right? C minor 6 is C, E flat, G, and A natural. So that's a C minor 6. Now, if I play the same notes, but started from A, I get an inversion of C minor, and that's basically a half diminished chord. All right? So yeah, we can still go improvise over a C melodic minor, which would be appropriate for a C minor 6 chord. So we can think about that. We can also think about A Locrian. That's a mode that works with shut up. We can also play in A Locrian, right? But I prefer to think of it as C melodic minor in that case. The A Locrian would actually not fit quite well because it would give us a B flat, and a B flat means hello Josh. A B flat means the minor 7th over that C minor 6th chord. So I don't think it would fit that well in terms of the harmony. So I wouldn't think of an A half diminished and a Locrian mode to go with it. I would just think about C minor 6 there and play the melodic minor. For whoever who's tuning in right now, hello, this is Omer here, or Mashano. I'm a jazz violinist, and I'm giving this basically a practice session. I'm sharing with you my practice session, and right now I'm practicing the tune Old King Doogie by Duke Ellington for a show that I have on Tuesday. So I need to learn this tune, and I'm just showing you guys how I approach preparing that tune. Okay. So we have a bar where we have C minor goes to C minor bass B flat, which we said is basically like C minor 7, and then we have C minor bass A, which we said it's like a half diminished chord, but it could also just thought of oh, hello from Panama. Yes, I have a lot of guys from South America here. That's nice. Hello, Athena. So I would just keep thinking of it as C minor 6, an inversion of C minor 6, and the appropriate scale to play with a C minor 6 is a melodic minor. Okay. So this is the scale that would um, accompany us for most of this tune. Okay. Okay, now the fun part comes. Now we get to the B part, and that's you could think of it as rhythm changes B part. If some of you guys know the form of a rhythm changes, this is basically like um, just around a cycle of dominance. Basically, that's how you play a B part of a rhythm changes form. So we have a cycle of dominance starting from C7, going to F7, B flat 7, E flat 7. That is a sub excuse me, not E flat 7, just E flat, and the E flat is what we call a tritone substitution to D minor 7 flat 5, okay, which is D half diminished. So why is it a tritone substitution? It's because the normal normal dominant to D would be A, right? Would be A7. So A7 could work there, but the cycle of the cycle of the dominance is just makes more sense to continue the round to E flat, which then serves as a tritone substitute to D. So half step above, it falls down to D half diminished G7, which is a minor 2/5 that takes us back to the top A part in C minor. Hello, Daniel. If you guys are tuning in, please let me know where you're from. Say hi, if you haven't done so yet. Hello, Elena. Okay. So, we're back at the A part at the end, and then we start jamming over it. Okay. So I'm just playing arpeggios now. And guys, let me know if you have any questions along the way. Hello, Bartix Violin Artist. Hi there. If you guys have any more questions about what I'm doing, please don't hesitate to ask. D7. C minor, C minor, C minor, C minor, C minor, C minor, sorry, C minor, C minor bass B flat, C minor bass A, G7, C minor, G7, going to B part, C7, F7, B7, B flat 7, E flat. Excuse me. There were a lot of chords happening there. It was hard for me to say it. So from the B flat 7, I'm going to E flat 1 bar, and then D half diminished and G7. And I can just right now when I'm playing the arpeggios, I'm practicing playing the arpeggios to the chord progression. I can just decide whether I want to think of just the G7 or just the D half diminished and play one arpeggio, because it will basically mean playing two notes out of, I'm playing quarter notes now, so it would mean playing two notes out of each chord. So it doesn't even give me enough time to emphasize that chord. So I would just choose one of them, because 2/5 progression is basically like the same chord. Okay, it's basically just like an extension of a dominant. It's just a dominant bar. So let's say I'll go for G7 there. So B part again, starting from C7 or C, going to F7, E flat 7, E flat, G7, back to C minor 6, minor bass, that was C minor bass B flat, so it's like C minor 7, C minor bass 8, G7, C minor. Okay, so next thing, hello Igor, Igor, and hello Nizam. So I played the arpeggios. Now next thing I would go about would be to play the play modes, or the appropriate scale. So in this case I would play a melodic minor, and then a Dorian C minor, and then G mixolydian for the G7 chord. That's the appropriate mode, would be G mixolydian. And then the B part, I have C7, that would be C mixolydian, and then F mixolydian, B flat mixolydian, E flat Ionian, or just E flat major, and then playing G mixolydian, I guess. Or again, I could play G mixolydian or play D Locrian, because we have a D half diminished chord there. And then we're going back to the A. So starting from melodic minor. G7 mixolydian. C7, so C mixolydian, F mixolydian, B flat mixolydian, E flat major, D half, D Locrian, C melodic minor, Okay, so so that's how I would go about that. These are the main things I would do before I try to approach a new tune. Just learn to play the arpeggios over the chord changes, and then practice playing the playing the modes over the chord changes. Okay, so now I would just try and jam with it. Let's see if there's a backing track. I don't think so, but let's see if there's a backing track to the song which I can use to practice. No, but I can just try and jam along with the master track, with the actual music by Ellington.
This is Webflow. Meet the design tool from the future. The most powerful vision.
So let's try and play the melody and then get into solo. I feel like the intonation here is worse than the other one. The tuning here is better, I think. Yeah, that's more tuned to regular tuning. Hello. Okay, Yushi. Alright. So, I'm practicing Duke Ellington, Old King, Doogie. I got the hit with the band. Alright, so that's enough, guys. So if you're still here, just some news. On yes, on Monday I'm releasing a video of my track "Go Find a Place of Peace." If I hope you guys got to check it out yet. If not, then you're welcome to find the link in my bio to check out the track. You'll have it will lead you to a DistroKid landing page where you have access to many different streaming services or just music services where you can check out the music. Anyway, I'm releasing a video for that song, this original, on Monday. I believe it will be released around 11 or 12 a.m. On Monday, this coming Monday. So I'd be happy if you get a chance to check it out and let me know what you think, if you enjoyed it. And again, if you have any questions or things you'd like me to go over on next weekend, on the next night practice session, then please send along, DM me or send me an email, whatever. Please let me know your questions and I'll do my best to try and address it in the next practice session. You're welcome to, if you'd like to be notified about the next night practice live session that I'm doing, then I invite you to join my newsletter, where I usually remind people, hello Bebo, I usually remind people about any upcoming events or upcoming live sessions on Instagram. So that also you can find on in the link in my bio. If you hit the link, it will take you to another page where it has few other links. So one of them would send you to listen to Go Find a Place of Peace, and another one would send you to the page where you can subscribe to my newsletter. So if you subscribe there, you'll get a personal reminder for the videos that is coming out, and also for the next time I'm going live on Instagram. Toda Ofiri, thank you. So that's it. If you have any questions about what I did here tonight or things you'd like me to do next time, please send along, and have a good night and a good week. Let's finish off with some more elevator music. How do I turn this off? Bye bye.